It's now time for Me and My Roku with host Peter Clay.
Don't live in between two cities.
Incidentally, this is Peter.
So we have a voicemail now from Peter.
Pete, you are not.
Not everybody sounds like Peter Clay.
More CEOs named Peter.
Peter Clay is here today.
Holy crap, it's Peter.
I've already forgotten his name.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Me and My Roku. I'm your host, Peter Clay. Welcome aboard. Well, I had not done a show in almost 2 weeks, and so I was noticing as I was recording that it was getting to be close to about a half an hour long, and usually this takes about 20 minutes or so. I don't like to take up all of your time when it's just me. You know, if I was interviewing somebody and all that stuff. So, but since this is a me show, I try and keep it short, sweet, to the point, and let us all move on with life type of thing. So I was going a little long, so I had to cut a couple segments out, so I thought I'd include them on a little special edition. And then also, we're going to go way back in the past to almost when this first show first started. I was doing a podcast called Bummin' Cousins with my cousin, and we would go... He's in California, I'm in Wisconsin, and we would go to thrift stores, and we talk about the things we would find and compare and contrast between the two places and all that stuff. So we got into talking about different things along those lines, and so, well, you'll listen to it, and you'll hear it, and it's really fun to go back in the past to see where we started, how I got started with this podcast, because we have some new listeners involved, and a lot of out of the country type of things too. So we're worldwide now here with Me and My Roku. And so as a little introduction to myself to say who I am, I'm Peter Clay. You knew that part. Just a guy with a Roku who just likes to go and explore. And as you'll hear in the clip later on, I just like to explore. I like to find things, and I like to look for savings and different things along those lines. And so when I cut cable and all that stuff, I found a whole new world with the Roku and different other streaming devices and all that stuff, and it's just been a whirlwind for me. So I felt an obligation to share those things and use this gift that I have of knowing how to put up a podcast and all that stuff and share it with everyone else. Not endorsed or sponsored in any way with Roku. It's just something I enjoy that helped open my eyes, and I felt like I had to share that with the world. So before I take up too much time, let's get started.
Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Da 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 da.
Okay. Well, the beautiful thing of having a podcast is you can do it whenever you want. Just like using the Roku. You can watch whenever you want, however you want, when you want, type of thing. Same with a podcast. No schedule, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., well, that'd be forever. But can you imagine me talking for that long about the Roku? Oh, my goodness gracious. So anyway, one of the things to do a bonus show was to apologize for the last show, because I have this new setup here, new mixing board, regular microphones again. I sound fabulous, don't I, folks? But I get a little animated when I talk, and apparently I was hitting the table here and all that stuff. I'm on a bar, actually, and it was making sound. And so the mixing board is, for some reason, on a ceramic tile coaster type of thing for the bar. And when I get animated, so I heard that in the background there, so I apologize in advance and all that stuff. So anyway, one other thing I forgot to do is I have these notes, and I put it on a little tablet, and apparently I just forgot to read the last part of the tablet, and I was a little 50-50 on this subject anyway, because it doesn't really involve the Roku. As you know, I like to talk about me and my Roku, but it involves Netflix, and the news of the fact that Netflix has now a free section. Okay, it's a specific website, so you just don't go to Netflix, and it only works on your computer or Android, and that is netflix.com/watch-free. And then they have a selection of Netflix originals, TV shows, movies, and stuff like that. So you can get the Adam Sandler movie with Jennifer Aniston. There's Stranger Things on there. Selected episodes. It's not, it's a gallimaufry, a variety of different things. Not a plethora, not an abundance of things. Not the whole Netflix library. But this thing, so I would think by now you should be on the fence with Netflix. We come and go. We're about a 1 month a year type of thing. Maybe 2 is if we get a free month, and then we'll pay for a month type of thing, and then let it go for a while until we get a free month again. And that typically takes about a year, because that's about how long one of the shows we prefer to watch is on Netflix. There's other things, and I'm agnostic to all these things. Netflix is fine, but for us, there's so many other things. Like, as I explained in the show before, I like to go and explore, and when I get on things, Netflix can get lost in shuffle. So why pay for something? Anyway, and also I have criterias and stuff. I like to pay for gift cards and all that stuff. Netflix doesn't go with Apple credits anymore, and so that's another thing too. So that's just me. That's why it's me in my Roku. So I thought I would at least share that. So if you're on the fence with Netflix, or you've had Netflix for years and you just want to try some of the other shows that you've maybe bypassed or anything in those lines, there you have it. Netflix.com/watch-free for a free little trial of Netflix. Here, as a service for you, here on Me and My Roku. Okay, so on the last episode, the real episode of Me and My Roku, not this bonus stuff, I talked about local news, weather, all that stuff. Sometimes how I bypass that. I don't like to be glib about it. It's not something that's usually on my radar. I usually have that I can look up on my phone or anything like that. But I mentioned an app called View It. And not more than an hour or two after that episode came out, then I got another question. And again, this was normally something I would normally bypass, and then I looked at it closer, and then I thought, this is worth talking about. So this came from Gerald. He goes, my Roku set-top box has decided that Channel 6 Lansing is to be my CBS local station. I don't know how to change it to Channel 3 Kalamazoo. And I would like to be able to view both channels as I live between both cities. Over-the-air signals are too weak to get from my Sony TV, which is why I went with the Roku. Okay, so one thing I can tell you for sure right now is you're probably not going to be able to do both. You did get one, and then how it went to another is kind of how I'm saying. So anyway, I went back and forth with him a little bit, and then I found out what the issue is he's using CBS All Access. And apparently at one point it was Channel 3 Kalamazoo, and they're saying you have to go with Channel 6 Lansing. So it is based on your IP address through your internet provider. So the one thing you can do is change providers and see if you have one that's maybe based more out of Kalamazoo than Lansing. Another thing you could do is not live on the fence anymore and pick a city and live in it. That's probably not practical. The other thing you can try is try a preview of do a trial. Set up an email account and try YouTube TV and see what they use for CBS All Access. Again, it's probably based on your internet provider, and that's it. See, back in the day with satellite television, they based it on your area code. So let's pick a city out of random. Let's say Fort Atkinson. Let's go a little north of that. Let's go Jefferson, because that's more in between Madison and Milwaukee. And on a good day, you could get both. And then when we went to the digital TV transition, then you had to make up your mind. You had to get a directional antenna, and you had to direct it east for Milwaukee, west for Madison. And you kind of had to decide. DirecTV didn't give you that. If you're in the 920 area code, you got Milwaukee. And if you're in the 608, if you're like more at Cambridge, then you got Madison. And that's kind of what you're going to get there, I think, between your Kalamazoo and Lansing for those who live in Michigan on purpose. So, anywho, trying those things out other than that. So, the chances of you getting both, I'm going to say, are slim and none. Again, try the app View It. See if any of them are on there. I saw that Kalamazoo was on there, but was it Channel 3 Kalamazoo? I did not get to see on that. I'm sorry, I apologize. It was Lansing. So I'm not sure if it was Channel 6, but you said you want Channel 3. So check it out for you, because I can't check outside of my area other than what they give me. So we're thinking about moving to Las Vegas. I would like to look at the local channels And I can't get that on View It. So that's based on your IP in your area there. Another thing to try is to look through the Roku channels and do a search for the channel that you want. If it's just the news, weather, and the local stuff that you want, then see if they have a Roku app. If it's because they have NCIS on an hour earlier than Channel 6 does, I don't know about that. So, again, chances of getting both, pretty slim. But give it a try. Who knows, right? That's what we like to call helping out here on Me and My Roku. Okay, well, this next segment comes courtesy of Ryan Michael Downey, who has a website called The Streaming Advisor. A good site. Not great, because there's way too many ads on there. But he's a good dude, and he's helped promote the show and all that stuff, and he has good content on there. But he's trying to make a living. I get it. I make a living and then do this for free, but that's okay. It takes a lot of work, and so the content is good and is very helpful. So if you need that, streamingadvisor.com. So he's got an article on there saying that cord cutters should thank PBS, because now the PBS app, depending on where you live, is offering live streaming of your local PBS station. Now, we saw at the beginning of the year that YouTube TV added PBS to there, and so depending on your location, you got that on there and stuff. And now it's crossed over into the PBS app itself, again, depending on where you live. And if you do a Google search, you can find out the locations where they're at. Otherwise, you can just get the PBS app and see if you get it. I don't. But, however, there's YouTube TV and there. And so I have found that YouTube TV, with their DVR function and all that stuff, to be helpful. There are some advantages to having the PBS app, too, especially if you're a member of PBS. Then you get all the programming that PBS offers and all that stuff, too. So, whereas if you don't subscribe, you have certain, like a week access to certain programming and all that stuff, and then plus whatever your YouTube TV can hold until it expires type of thing. So, his point, though, is that this is going to open the floodgates. Okay, so now that PBS is offering live streaming and everything, that everyone's going to do this now. ABC is going to do this, and NBC and CBS and all that stuff. Now, CBS has all access, and so they have live streaming on there. And ABC and NBC will let you do it as long as you have a cable login. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. That's just me. That could, that's why it's a me show. But I think this is just PBS just trying to branch out to those things. I don't think 1 + 1 = 3 on this one. So anyway, that's just a good thought and all that. And try it out today. Get some culture in your life and get the PBS app today for your Roku here on Me and My Roku. Okay, well, this is normally the segment where I would say, everyone come a little closer. Let's have a little chit-chat and discuss some things, all that stuff. We're going to do things a little differently this time. We're going to still give loves and thanks and hugs and kisses to the Internet Archive, archive.org, the provider of the bandwidth of this podcast and everything that I've done over the past 15 years or so, let's say. So back in the day, I did a podcast called The Radio Affliction, and I did a podcast called Bum and Cousins. I talked about that in the intro with my cousin. He's out in California. I'm out there. So the show is pretty much, for the most part, come and gone. Just life changes. We didn't cancel the show or anything like that. It's just like I don't go shop at thrift stores anymore. I'm trying to get rid of stuff. I'm not trying to get more stuff type of thing. So the show lives on forever in eternity at the Internet Archive. So check it out today at archive.org and just do a search for Bum and Cousins, or just look for me and you'll find a fabulous podcast. An interesting array of things, discussions of just what two people do and what they look for in thrift stores and what they find appealing and all that stuff. It's an interesting thing. So as a little gift for you here, a little segment here, because we ended up talking about the different things, like how I use gift cards to find things, different ways I use bumming now, not just going to thrift stores. And I considered getting a Roku a bummin' score type of thing. So this is me and my bummin' cousin talking about my first experience with the Roku.
I was kind of looking for a toy, something as a reward for all this hard work I've been doing, And the first thought I had was a Kindle. I really want the iPad, but I can't afford $500 right now. But I saw a Kindle for $139, and I'm like, maybe. But it's just that, I would spend too much time reading, and then I might learn something, and that's just a frightening thought.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
Yeah. So I came across then the Roku box. And I talked about this on the show before because I had cut cable except for internet. I was looking for other things to do. So, I didn't want to live on the RCA Select Vision video disc player alone.
What?
I couldn't do
That's scandalous.
And so I was thinking of a Roku box, and so then Black Friday hit, and it went on sale, and I had enough Amazon dollars in there to do that. Got it the next day then, and so I've been kind of playing around with that. So in a sense, that's kind of a bum and score too, because I did, I worked hard for it and didn't pay anything for it and got a good deal, and now I'm enjoying a Roku box. And if you want the full story on that, you can listen to my new show on the Radio Affliction Network called Me and My Roku. But Jim, you have a story to tell me on that now, but cause it's kind of hard to say because you haven't gotten yours yet.
Correct. Yeah, I saw that you had purchased one, and I had read about them, maybe last year, I think, and I'm thinking, kind of cool, but I guess the offering or what you could connect it to just wasn't appealing enough. So I looked at them again, and now, of course, milliseconds go by and things change dramatically in the internet. There's just a ton of programming available. And so I am getting really tired of my current television provider, DirecTV. And
no. We shouldn't go out and say names like that. I'm sorry. I'm going to charter a plane.
I'm sorry that it had to be that way because I have been a DirecTV subscriber almost from day one.
About 15 years.
I worked for the parent company that provided the satellites to DirecTV, and they offered a substantial discount on the service and the box.
Yeah.
And I mean, at that
Which
time, substantial was like
family, by the way.
I mean, I paid. I'm embarrassed to say this. I paid $1,000 for my DirecTV box when it first
back in the day.
Back in the day. And of course, now they'll come out and wire your whole house with DirecTV boxes in every room for free.
Right.
But what do you do? But I'm now terribly tired with the programming. I don't like the packages. So I'm looking to make a break from that, and I'm hoping that the Roku will do that. It's it's a one-time payment to own the box. It's yours. You can choose to subscribe to some of the services, the Netflix, Hulu Plus looks intriguing, and even at those prices with their subscriptions, it's way cheaper than any of the DirecTV dish stuff. So I'm really hoping that I can, not tell them to go pound sand, but just say, thank you for letting me be a loyal customer for the past 15 plus years, but I'm done with it.
Well, I can just say from my personal experience on this is that me and the darling here really haven't missed anything by getting rid of cable TV, sans the internet.
Yeah.
I will recommend that you listen to Me and My Roku. You can download that at radioaffliction.com. And there's one episode out right now. By the time this comes out, there'll be at least 2 or 3. Here's now for you, because knowing you like I've known you, but for someone else out there I don't know. You, I think you'll because you like old movies and old TV shows and old black and white stuff and all that stuff. You'll be in hog heaven, I think.
Yeah.
As far as then, since episode 1 has already aired and is out there, I can roughly say, without giving anything away or anything like that, is that job number 1 is either one of two things: Hulu or Netflix. Since Hulu is fully available on the internet as it is, to turn around and spend $8 for Hulu Plus to stream through seems a little, I went through the week trial of it, and there was a show that came on the day before on Fox that we watch, and that was kind of nice. But then after that, I can just watch it on my computer, I guess, or something, or I can hook up or something. Now the whole part of Roku is so I don't have to hook up a computer anymore, because I still want to work and all that stuff. So right now for me it's one or the other, because I don't want to start racking up another bill, because I'm still paying the internet, and then to throw in another $16 on top of that, it's still less than I would have, granted, because cable, seriously, to me was like, it was $140 a month.
Ouch.
That type of thing. So now with the internet, with ESPN3, at least we still get that on the internet. We can still get a game. I don't get SportsCenter and all that stuff, but you know what? I don't need 12 hours of SportsCenter, and things. So they have the highlights on their own websites, so I haven't missed anything. And the Roku box so far, TV when I want it, how I want it type of thing for the most part. Now, Netflix has redone their thing, so if you don't want DVDs anymore, you don't have to get them. They have a $7.99 streaming only feature. Now, do you get grade A '1 material? No. Do you have enough to rot your brain for a whole day if you wanted to? Sure.
Yeah.
And in case in point, we caught the second movie in the, what was the Dean Martin, not Flint, Matt Helm.
Yeah.
Really bad movie. But you know what? Hey, we had an hour and a half to kill, and, and quality, unbelievable, as long as you're within. Now, I probably would recommend hardwiring it, as we get technical here now. But you know what? It's not bad wirelessly either. If as long as you have got a direct site to your router, it's worked really well. So I think you're going to enjoy it. But is it going to you really miss DirecTV? That's up to you. I don't know.
I would say won't miss it.
Probably not. Because I have found enough things on there, enough for me to want to do a podcast about it. So I think I'm going to be okay.
Well, perhaps I will be a guest star on your other radio show, and
that could happen.
I'll give you my opinion on it over there.
I want you on more than one podcast, but now that I think about it, you've been on the Radio Affliction a few times now too. So I will give you this one recommendation to anyone who's considering either a Roku box, or even if they're just going to stream off their gaming systems. What's nice about the Roku box, it's just a box. There's no moving parts or anything like that. Because if you're going to do it off Wii or an Xbox or anything like that, you need to get a disc from Netflix. I don't think they charge you for it, but still, it's kind of a hassle. But I have found something that has helped a lot, because you're going to find things that you're not used to, and you don't want to always trust user ratings. I picked up Bumming. And I can't believe I didn't say this soon, but just kind of bring this to more relevant to a bumming thing. I found a Leonard Maltin review book. It's probably a few years old. It's a 2007 version, but for $1, what the heck? Especially for all the older movies, that isn't going to. So a Leonard Maltin review book, or just go onto Rotten Tomatoes too and get a little bit more of an aggregate of reviews on that too. So because you're going to find things that you didn't know you knew, if that makes any sense.
Very good.
And there you have it. Oh, man, have we come a long way, not just with the Roku and all, and not hooking up your computer to the TV anymore with the Roku box, but just think, used to have, as a reference, Leonard Maltin review books. Now we have Suppose.tv and Real Good and Just Watch apps on our phones. Now, wow, incredible stuff there. That's at least 10 years ago. From Bummin' Cousins, now a gift from the Internet Archive. That's where you can find more Bummin' Cousin episodes. Check that out if you wish. Thanks to James Reed for pitching in on that one there. So, well, that's all I have for this bonus episode of Me and My Roku. I just want to thank archive.org once again for their support and the bandwidth for providing this podcast. And for more updates and more, go to my website. I've updated it now. There's updates on there. Check it out today at meandmyroku.com. And as a gift from me to you, a 7-day free trial of Philo. Check that out today at philo.meandmyroku.com. You can subscribe to the Me and My Roku podcast because you never know when a bonus episode is just going to pop right up and all that good stuff. Check it out today at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Ghana, JioSaavn, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartMedia, Podbean, Pandora, and Radio.com. Follow me on Twitter at Radio Affliction and on Instagram at Pierre Argyle. Check it out today. And for more intimate one-on-one questions, comments, or anything along those lines, email me at meandmyrokupodcast@gmail.com. Hey, thanks for listening to this special bonus episode, and hope you are enjoying you and your Roku as much as I'm enjoying me and my Roku. And I'll be back with you real soon.